Highly gifted, my jacket's thrifted. Watch me get a pattern shifted, just acting different. Living in my minutes, I'm catalytic. That's why they love to jack the style like it's on a Civic. I will never pull the strings like an oligarch. I do my dance at the club with the lonely hearts, watching all these little men try and be Bonapartes and make the rest of us deal with their broken parts. Despite evil.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back. So today, first of all, I'm training legs, which will be fun. Second of all, stick around because we're going to be speaking through 5 main points to help you decide which training split to do. Just speaking through the thought process of how to decide how to distribute your training up into different splits. It's going to be good fun. I'm going to crack on and train legs.
New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always, all days, all nights. See, do I do.
So point 1 when it comes to choosing your training split. First point is that there isn't a magic training split. There's not one that's better than the other. If we look at training splits in general, it is essentially a means of distributing volume and frequency across the week and splitting up the total number of sets you're going to perform per body part per week into individual days so that we can then distribute that as needed for you as an individual. So whether it be full body, upper lower, push pull legs, the split itself almost isn't the important thing. It's what it's allowing you to do in terms of the training stimulus across each week. Almost stop overthinking the training split, stop idolizing certain splits and take a look at that next layer of the onion in terms of what it actually allows you to do over each training week.
All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head.
So point 2 is simply time availability. How much time do you have across your week to be training? Can you get in the gym a maximum of 3 times per week? Or are you an individual that has more time available and can be training 4, 5, 6 times? Obviously, the more days you can get into the gym, the more flexibility you have in terms of the split that you use. However, there might be some of you that are legitimately limited in terms of the number of days you can train around personal commitments, time commitments, etc. So next thing to look at, how many times a week can you get in the gym? You've then got your pool of days that you then have to work with.
Backhand if you slick speaking. Cut off if that hand reaches. Sucker, I ain't about y'all leeches. All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah. All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah, I'ma let him. Women with sharks in the tank, Aquaman with how I think. How many can step on the stage and say they taking they art to the bank? You pulling rank, boy, I'm sharp as a shank, making you step to the plank. The Capitan, come get me if you can. I'ma get you if you can. They say the
Oh, I went so dizzy then. Hold my breath for ages. So point 3, we can start to look at general training needs and what we know we need to try to do on a week-to-week basis in order to provide a good stimulus and ultimately progress over time. And there's some general rules that we can stick to for most people in most instances that would probably be a good idea for you to try and stick to. One of those being training frequency per muscle group per week. Ideally, trying to keep that at around 2 to 3 times a week. We know that we can pull that frequency of stimulus down to once a week or even once every 7 to 10 days for body parts that definitely aren't a priority, but we're going to be minimizing our ability to grow, to create hypertrophy, and to see progress within those body parts. There might be other body parts that you actually want to progress a little bit more or prioritize more, or you can train more frequently down to the fact that their recovery demands are lower. Things such as arms, things such as delts, things such as calves. We may be able to push that up to 3, maybe even 4. But as a general rule of thumb, if you can try and be distributing your split in a way that touches each muscle group around twice a week, that's a brilliant foundation for you to start from. I don't even want big legs, why am I doing this? Oh, walking lunges and we're done. So point 4, we can start to look at recovery and essentially how each session is going to tie into the next in terms of whether you have enough space between session to session and stimulus of each muscle group in order to recover adequately and be able to go into that session with the ability to perform fully and perform safely because you're not carrying through any DOMs or tightness from that session before. Usually for most people, you want to try and keep a couple of days between each muscle group stimulus. So let's say if you train chest on a Monday, I'd recommend taking Tuesday and Wednesday as days where you don't touch chest again, and then potentially looking at either Thursday or Friday as another stimulus point there. On top of that, we can look at movement pattern specificity across the week and how one movement on one day may negatively affect the other. So say for instance, if I train posterior chain on a Monday and I perform a heavy hip hinge, so let's say I'm doing a deadlift or an RDL, I then go and try and train back the next day and I'm doing un-chest supported row movements that require me to brace through the midsection. Those two sessions, yes, we're training different muscle groups, but session A, where we did the hip hinge and loaded the lower back, is gonna potentially have a negative impact on session 2 on Tuesday, where we're training back and actually bracing on those rows. So think about that across your week as well, in terms of not only muscle group to muscle group, but movement pattern to movement pattern. So point 5, in terms of how to choose your training split. We can start to look at your individual needs and your specific goals within that phase of your programming. Do you want to be prioritizing any specific body parts? Are you looking to create muscle growth all round? Is there anything that we need to take into consideration that would influence our decision-making process around which training split we use, which will ultimately influence how much stimulus we can provide to each muscle group, how frequently, where we distribute volume, all of those factors below. So in the instance of needing to prioritize certain body parts, we may look to actually pull down the volume on other body parts in order to allow space for that within our recovery capabilities. Let's say if we just tried to push everything as high volume as possible, training it 3 times a week, you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna have a productive training week for a long training cycle. Let's say if we do want to prioritize lower body development, for instance, driving more frequency and volume there. That may be facilitated by pulling down upper body frequency, volume, etc. across your week to allow space for that. Vice versa, we might have a male individual that wants to improve his chest and his shoulders. So again, we might look at distributing the training split in prioritization of that and actually pulling down on other areas. So think about that whole picture and ultimately look at all of these different factors when deciding what split is going to be best for me within this phase. Hope you enjoyed the video as always, guys. My goal with YouTube itself is just to bring a little bit of value each week to you guys. If I can just give one little nugget that you can take into your next week's worth of training or just improve your own ability to progress for free on this platform, then that's my day made. So I hope you're all finding these valuable and entertaining as always. Comment below as to how you're finding the series so far and what was the most sort of helpful tip from this video. Comment that below. Hope you all have a good week. I'll see you next Saturday. Do all that YouTuber stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Right, goal of your physique condition. Number 2. Why am I about to laugh? Fuck, I've got like loads of food stains all over me. God. It's the blooper.